Okay, hello and welcome to the first of two videos. This is a 20-minute map. The idea is that we're hoping that users and members of Coastal Rivers, whether you're staff or you're just a regular member, you should be able to make a map of your home area or a kind of a small local area under 20 minutes. That means also, though, you're going to have to take 20 minutes before you do that to learn how to do it. So, the goal for these videos is that the first one is 10 minutes and it's going to be data exploration, where I just show you the environment and the information that you can use. That's all public on the web, no login required, just in browser. And then the second video is going to be 10 minutes that shows you how to turn it into a PDF and a JPEG with a scale bar and to scale that you can download and all that kind of stuff and print out. So the first thing you want to do is go to this URL, which is it's an ArcGIS hub site. So this is all for Coastal Rivers, and it's under the Coastal Rivers hub site, which is maps-coastalrivers.hub.arcgis.com. And so if you go to that, you'll get this home page here. And I think most of you should know already, if you're a Coastal Rivers member or a staff member, that this is not the official Coastal Rivers website. Their official website is at coastalrivers.org. So you'll want to go there if you need anything else. But this hub site is primarily for geospatial content and any data that Coastal Rivers manages. So this site has a lot of purposes and it's under construction. So, but the primary point of it for the public will be exploring trails and the landscape. The recreation landscape is kind of where you'd explore here. These all bring you to trails and things like that, trail maps that are managed by Coastal Rivers. So the trail maps you would get to take out with you or see at the kiosks, those aren't necessarily right here, but all the data is right here. So it's kind of a fun way to explore where you can go hiking. Ecological features also under construction, but this is for seeing what's interesting in this service area for ecological information that might be kind of just of interest and fun to explore. And then this is what we're concerned with today. This is the map printer. And this is basically a tool that's designed to help people that are not cartographers or professional GIS users, but people that want to just make a quick map of a local landscape. And when I say local, I mean kind of like at the parcel level, or a small region, or if you live on a lake or something like that, or next to a big chunk of land that you want to know more about. This map printer is for you to make your own maps. For instance, I've worked with a lot of farmers or aquaculturists that are trying to get their permitting or leases, and they just need a sketch. This would be a great tool to make a sketch of the landscape. So go ahead and hit Explore. You can either hit this button here, or you can go up to the toolbar on top, and you can hit Map Printer there, or you can go down here and hit Explore. So once you do that, the Map Printer, it'll take you to a web page, and this web page is kind of just a landing page. The tool is this big map box here, which we'll look at in a second. But this web page may have different content in the future. For instance, these tutorial videos we're almost certainly going to post up here on this web page. So it'll be better, though, for designing your map if you're full screen. So instead of using this section here on this web page, just click View in Full Screen, and that'll take you so that your whole web browser is kind of like one big map making workspace. So what is this? What we're looking at is what I would call a map canvas, and you can click and drag, you can zoom in and out. It's very similar to Google Maps or Bing Maps or Apple Maps. We call it a slippy map, meaning when you click and drag, you can kind of slip the map around, and then you zoom in and out with your mouse wheel or finger drag on a touchpad, that kind of thing. I would recommend trying to do this in with a laptop or a desktop. You might be able to do it on a tablet. I think it would be very hard to do on a phone. So try to use a regular old computer for this project would be my suggestion. In the upper left over here, we've got a bunch of widgets, and these widgets help us interact with the map. And the first one here is for drawing. You can use that and you can draw things right on the map, just lines, points, polygons. You can drop text, all that kind of stuff. These two are select and query, and those are for interacting with mostly the parcels layer, but you can use those to kind of select things that you want to show. This is the measurement tool, very, very cool. You can measure in areas, and you can measure lengths, and you can change the unit. So it could be acres, or it could be feet or meters or miles. And so the measurement tool is pretty cool. And then this is the printing widget, and we'll deal with that in the next video. That's going to be how you turn what you're looking at into a piece of paper. How you make it a PDF that you can download and then either print at the library or at home or at Coastal Rivers. So we're not going to do the widgets right now. What we're concerned with right now are these over here. And these are kind of concerned with organizing the layers, because maps are just layers of information stacked on top of each other. And what we have is we've got kind of a legend, and this tells us about what we're looking at currently. And then we have a layers list, and the layers list shows us all of the layers we have turned on. And then we have kind of a base map, a window where we can choose the base map. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the layers, because I want to change something. So when I click the layers, you'll see that, by default, we have the black parcels. They're the same layer, but black and white. And I've turned it on just automatically. So if you turn it off, you'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, those parcels were kind of a lot to look at. And now you get to see just kind of the base map alone without anything else on top of it. And so yeah, each of these layers has something that's really interesting. What we'll do is I'll come back to this in a second. I want to just go talk about base maps for a really quick minute, because the base maps are kind of the canvas on top of which we get to put the layers. So these layers are always on top of the base map. But so I've turned off all of my layers. I don't have any layers right now. And then I want to go to the base map and see what my options are. These base maps are mostly made by Esri, and they're just kind of like different ways of viewing the Earth. They're all really helpful and interesting, but there's only a few that are going to be probably the most helpful, so I want to show you what those are. So I'm going to go to where my house is, and for instance, if you're zoomed really far in, they're going to start to look more and more coarse, right? So if I was to look at just where my property is here, where I live, in this kind of region, is this topographic is okay, but as I get in closer and closer, it gets coarser and coarser. So a lot of these are cool, like this colored pencil one, but you can see that it's not really designed for getting too close. It's kind of meant for more like regional mapping. But if we want to map stuff really close, I would say there's a couple that are the most important. The first most important, I think, would be these topographic ones at the very bottom. So the default is topographic. But you can also get the USGS topos, and I think those are kind of cool, right? The USGS topos are just a standard mapping style. They're published by the United States Geological Survey, so they're pretty accurate. And you can use either kind of their legacy format, which these were the paper ones, or you can use the USGS national map. And this is kind of like the modern version of the USGS topo, in the sense that it's where they just publish live all the time their most recent data. So both of those are good base maps, as is this topographic. But another good base map would be the aerials. So if you just go up to where it says there's up here imagery, and you click that on, this is going to be really helpful, because this is just like very high resolution and very recent imagery kind of everywhere. No matter where you zoom, you'll see that. And then there's imagery hybrid, which has labels that you can kind of see. So I've only got a couple minutes left, but those are the good base maps. The next thing I would do is check out the layer list. And so when you've picked your base map, you can kind of explore a little bit. Parcels black works well with lighter base maps, and parcels white works good with darker base maps. So you've got both of those. We've also got water bodies and wetlands, which may or may not be helpful on other base maps. But if you don't want to use any base map at all and you want to create your own base map, you can use this blank white canvas, and then you can kind of put on top of it the wetlands and the water, at your leisure, and kind of figure that out. Then there's one last cool thing, and I'm into my 10th minute, so I have to stop, is this LiDAR layer. And so this is kind of the bare earth, and it lets you see what the shape of the landscape looks like, and it's kind of fun. It's very detailed. So this LiDAR layer will be really good for looking at properties and stone walls and kind of very local shapes. So LiDAR, wetlands, water bodies, a blank white base map if you don't want to see the pre-baked ones, and then you've got parcels in black and white. So that's kind of all we've got there. So hope you enjoy exploring the data, and I'll see you in the next video.